Hello, welcome back to another episode of D54. My name is Amit, and today I'm going to be talking to you about 2024 once again, because I can't stop talking about 2024. So this is going to be my official top 10 movies from the Malayalam film industry in 2024. Now, if you guys are wondering why am I talking about 2024 once again, you've already talked about it in another video. That was more of a recap and a discussion, and it was a great one that I had with Kathy from Cinemondo and Melanie from Paradesi. You should definitely check that one out. But I didn't formally go through my top 10 movies, and at that time I had not seen two of the blockbuster movies that came out in December. One that has completely broken the box office and now is at 100 crores. So this is my recap of 2024. I will officially be giving you my top 10 list as well as some honorable mentions as I go along. So stay tuned till the end. If you guys are new to the channel, welcome to the show. This is a Malayalam exclusive channel. We do a lot of movies, and we are looking to do a lot more Malayalam movies, only Malayalam movies in 2025 as well. So please subscribe if you like that kind of content. I'm sure you're going to enjoy the kind of videos we do. But let me get on to this, starting with number 10. Already starting off pretty controversial. I'm starting off with the movie Malaikottai Vaaliban. A movie that, look, I'm not going to lie, like I struggled to put this as number 10 for myself. I came in with a lot of hype. I came in with probably high expectations for this movie. Just before this movie came out, we had spent like maybe 2 months or maybe a month and a half. I'm not sure. We spent quite a bit of time looking at the filmography of Lijo Jos Piliseri. We had done quite a few of his movies. I think we had done 4 of his movies all up. So we had spent a lot of time on the channel looking into him as a director, what his vision was. We had seen movies like Churli. We had seen movies like Jeli Kattu, Angamali Diaries. So we had done quite a few of his movies. So I came in, pretty excited to see what this movie was going to be about. And look, I will say, despite the fact this movie was a little bit disappointing to me in terms of what the final output was, I still enjoyed the movie. I mean, seeing it on the big screen was pretty amazing. Visually, it was undoubtedly one of the most visually stunning movies of the year. Even as I go through this list of mine, it is probably a top 3 or 4, maybe in terms of just this visual beauty. Its cinematography was pretty amazing. The storyline, I thought, it had some substance there. It had some depth, but unfortunately, it just didn't execute some of the ideas as much as I would have liked. And it's hard to say that because Lijo is such a great storyteller, and Mohanlal is such a good actor. He can, basically play these characters with ease. And this was such an interesting character for him to play. So unfortunately, it didn't live up to my expectations, but I did enjoy this movie, and it does crack my top 10. At number 9, something that's probably a bit more conventional is the movie Anweshippin Kandethum. The movie from Tivina Thomas. Now, I'm a big fan of Tivina Thomas on this channel. If you follow this channel, then you'll know I'm a big fan of Tivina Thomas. Done a lot of his movies, including another one which I'll talk about a bit later. But this was such a fun movie. It was such a procedural. I mean, it was a procedural movie, but it was pretty grounded in its nature. Like all procedurals are generally a little bit grounded, but this one I felt was even more grounded. The execution was really good. The cinematography was really good. The story was great. It went from like 2 halves. The one was like the backstory and giving us all sort of the details about what was happening. Before the sort of act happened, and then a second sort of life begins after that as well. So it was almost 2 separate movies, but I thought it was executed really well. A really enjoyable movie. I think he was a debut director or a new director, which was a common theme this year. So yeah, it was an enjoyable movie. I think it has good repeat value. I'm pretty sure if I go back and watch this movie again sometime this year, I'm gonna probably enjoy it just as much as I did last time. So yeah, this is probably one of the movies that I think went under the radar a little bit. I think it came out in the month of March, which I believe, like in the month of March, the Malayalam film industry had a couple of blockbusters that came out during that time. It might have been Bramayugam that came out. It might have been Manjummel Boys, and also I think Premalu all came out at the same time in March. So that is stiff competition to basically have. And this movie, I felt like it was fun. It was good. I enjoyed it. But yeah, that's my number 9. At number 8 is Manjummel Boys. Some people might think, why is this so down on my list? Look, I did enjoy this movie. I enjoyed it quite a lot. I thought it was very emotional. It had some really good cinematography again. It kept you hooked right to the end, right at the edge of your seat. I did really enjoy this movie. quite a lot. Like I can't give it too many complaints. It was a good theater experience to sort of be in a community of just seeing people, go through this experience together. Yeah, it was a fun movie. I really enjoyed it, and it was. Yeah, I don't really know. I can't really criticize it too much. Like making a top 10 list is always difficult because I'm putting it up against some pretty stiff competition. I guess the reason might be why it's so low. There was a bit less of a personal connection to this story, to be honest. Like it appealed to me on like a global aspect, and the sort of struggle that I think it wasn't Serbian's character. It was the other character who got stuck under the well. It had a lot to like about it. So there was some appeal to that. I didn't know so much about the story myself, so there was less of a cultural significance, I guess, that I had personally to the story. But just as a story, I definitely enjoyed it quite a bit. So that comes in at number 8. At number 7, a pretty underrated movie, one that went under the radar, really under the radar. But I would say this movie was one of the most unique screenplays that I think I have seen from a movie. It's a movie Ullozhukku. So a really good movie led by two female actresses, which is great, Urvashi and Parvati, both really just exceptional in this role. But the way they sort of handled the relationships within family, within love, within marriage and all this stuff was really fascinating. I personally gravitate towards movies that speak on that sort of element, to be honest, that humanist element. And so you'll see another movie that comes up pretty soon as well that has a pretty similar kind of tone to it, I feel, dealing with relationships and how we sort of deal with each other. So this movie I thought was just so unique in that. Like I have not seen a story like this which treats the relationship between the mother-in-law and daughter-in-law with so much tender care and so much there was so much to like about this movie. It was a beautiful movie, and it was a bit disappointing that this movie completely fell under the radar. And I think it didn't make too much money either, which is a shame. But for me, this movie really connected with me on a pretty deep and personal level. So it was a beautiful movie. I enjoyed the performances. I enjoyed again the cinematography. They shot this movie completely in the rain. It was just raining the whole time, I believe, and that was obviously on set. They were always in water. But I just love the stories it told throughout this movie, and it's one that does stick with me, to be honest, because of how unique it was, and that might be why it's sort of placed it so high on my list. Because yeah, it just connected to me on a different level. So I really enjoyed it. If you guys did see this movie, I would love to know: does this hit your top 10 at all? Am I the only one that thought this movie is a top 10 movie? Maybe I am. Maybe it's just a personal thing. But you guys, let me know in the comments. What did you think? At number 6, one of the most, I guess, fun movies of the year is Aavesham. Like, this movie was so much fun. Like, oh my god, we covered this movie twice on this channel. So I covered it myself after I watched it in cinema, and what a fun experience that was. What a wild ride that was. So much comedy, so much to laugh about. Yeah, really one that sticks out just in terms of how fun it was. There was just so much there that I enjoyed about this movie. Fahad Fasil, obviously a fan favorite, like of this channel. I absolutely love everything he does. He's such a fantastic actor, and his character in this movie was just so. I guess I've not seen him play such a wild character, such an unhinged character. He's had moments of that I've seen, like in Kumbal Nights. There was a little bit of this that was sort of teased, but to go this far and be like this wild gangster with like this dark past, it was fantastic. I enjoyed this movie a lot. So I've talked about Aavesham quite a bit on this channel. If you haven't seen it yet, what are you doing? Go out and watch it. Go and see it on streaming. It's on Amazon. In fact, I'm pretty sure everyone that's listening to me talk right now has probably seen Aavesham. It made a lot of money in the box office once again. I believe this was another movie that cracked the 100 crore mark. Let me just double check myself right now. Yes, it was a movie that cracked. It made 154 crore, 155 crore almost. So yeah, it did really well in the box office, and I'm pretty sure this did pretty well internationally as well. So love this movie, enjoyed it a lot, and that makes my number 6. At number 5, we have ARM. This movie was a movie that I regretted not seeing in cinema. I honestly was a little bit busy during this time, so I did not go out and watch this movie in cinema, and I highly regretted it. I will say my only issue with this movie was the fact that I felt that the marketing material, the trailers, everything that I had seen, even some of the posters and some of the stuff that I had seen gave me this vibe that this would be a really serious movie for some reason. Maybe even like a historical movie, because there were like elements of history here. Like we start off in one time period, we jump and go to another time period, then we jump again and go to another time period. So I thought maybe there would be a lot of focus on maybe the first time period, which would be like the earlier ages. So I was a bit concerned about that, but when I went and saw this movie, basically when it came out on OTT, what a fun movie! It was so much more fun than I thought. It had a lot of comedy in it. Tarina Thomas was so fun playing, especially the character in the second timeline. I believe the name was Manikyam. Had such a great character. It might be one of my favorite Tarina Thomas performances so far. He's had so many good roles, so it's hard for me to specify one specifically. But this is definitely up there and very memorable. It had this cool like adventure, like 90s adventure vibe that it reminded me of my childhood. Movies like obviously Indiana Jones and The Mummy comes to mind because that was a big part of my childhood growing up. So this movie reminded me of that. And it's rare to see those kind of adventure movies, I feel, in today's age. So it was just a lot of fun. It was visually stunning, beautiful. This movie ticked off so many boxes. It was so much fun. It had a lot of layers of depth as well in terms of storytelling. Great performances. The music was beautiful as well in this movie. The cinematography, the 3D effect. I didn't see it in 3D, but I could tell that this movie would have looked nice in 3D, despite the fact it was turned into 3D afterwards. So yeah, a lot to like about ARM. It is a movie that's going to stand out for me in this year, and yeah, I'm glad I got to see it on OTT at least. But it is one that I will infinitely regret not seeing in cinema. Number four is a movie that came out all the way in January of 2024. And this is a movie that I won't forget, despite the fact I think it was, like, at least on Wikipedia, it is the first movie that is listed. It is a movie called Aattam. So this is a movie that was completely. I did not expect this movie to be as good as it was. I'd heard very good things about this movie, but not at the level where I thought it would break into my top five at this point. But this movie, my god, it's just this movie shows me the power of Malayalam cinema. Similar to Ullozhukku that I mentioned. Like, they both have the same kind of theme, very sort of grounded, very like situational, and that's what really, like, I love that about Malayalam cinema, how we can take these simple stories and create such intense stories and such powerful stories. And that's what Aattam, I think, does almost better than anything else in this entire list. To just have that the scenes play out in basically one room, moving to another room, moving to another room. This movie is just like it's just in like almost one location. It's not much movement, but the stories are told, and the way they were able to basically just have the conversations and create so much mystery and intrigue. It wasn't like a murder mystery movie where there's so many like moving parts where you have to try and figure out who did what. It was really grounded. There's only one or two things where you had to sort of find out what was happening, but the way they built up to the end scene essentially, and what basically the situation that everyone found themselves in, especially the actress in that movie. Yeah, it was so well done. It was so well done. I really enjoyed this movie, and I really hope to see more movies from Vinay Ford, because I feel like he's a very good actor. I've only seen him in two movies, I think. I've only seen him in Aattam, and I've seen him in Churali, which I enjoyed both. So I'd love to see more movies of his. And yeah, this movie was just spectacular. Like, it's one that I'm not going to forget. Once again, I know I've said that about a lot of the movies on this list, but Aattam is just such a unique movie. Yeah, I loved everything about this movie. It's definitely a top four, and you can make an argument that it could even be in my top three, even, to be honest. It's just that good. At number three, we have a movie that, again, I watched on OTT, came out pretty late in the year, but blew me away with its storytelling. And it's, again, one of those movies that is such a unique script. I did not see this ending coming at all from this movie. The movie is Kishkindha Kaandam. Beautiful movie. Very powerful, very sad at the end. Just thinking back to this movie, I even have like, the images of what happened towards the end and the story that they told. Very powerful, very hard hitting, and very, again, unique. Beautiful movie. Like, it was so well done. Asif Ali, really, I feel like it's his breakout movie. So I'm hoping for, this is the start of a trend for him to really get more roles like this, because he absolutely excelled in this role. I really enjoyed his performance. But it wasn't just him. Everyone in this movie bought it, including, most importantly, the writers. The way they wound this movie up together was just such a mind-blowing experience. I had got to the point where I think it was like 20 minutes left in this movie, and I was wondering, how are they going to finish this movie? What are they going to do to finish this movie? I felt like, okay, the story's done. We've told everything. is this it? Is this what all the buzz was about? Is this what everyone was talking about? Okay, I enjoyed it, but maybe not as much as other people. Then the last 20 minutes hit, and then I understood everything why people love this movie. So I completely get it. This movie, again, really fantastic. It could arguably be, again, you can pick between the top three, to be honest. I think definitely these top three I'm going to mention now are all interchangeable, but this movie for me, unforgettable, beautiful movie, just so powerful and so well done. Every aspect of this movie just about was just almost perfect, to be honest. It was that good. Before I go on to my last two, you guys probably have an idea what the last two are going to be. There's two movies I've not mentioned, but I will hold some suspense at this point, and I will talk about some honorable mentions. I did mention a movie that I had not seen yet at the time I had done my last review, and that was a movie called Rifle Club. That makes it into the honorable mention section. I really enjoyed Rifle Club. I enjoyed the ensemble cast. I enjoyed some of the storytelling. It was really stylish. It was so well shot, and I enjoyed how they introduced each character. I enjoyed the first half, especially. I enjoyed the first half a lot, to be honest. I enjoyed the first half. This movie could have broken the top 10 if I think the second half was a little bit better. And you could make an argument that it could be at number 10 as well. Like this would be like maybe 11 or 12. Something like that. So yeah, Rifle Club, really enjoyable movie. Love the music, love the performances. A lot to like about this. Again, the animal violence, a bit hard for me to stomach that a little bit, so that pushes it down a little bit personally. But yeah, that is one honorable mention. And the last honorable mention is a movie I mentioned, which made so much money last year. Is a movie called Premalu. Probably the surprise of the year. I don't know what movie you would say is a surprise of the year, to be honest. But I think from a box office point of view, it might be Premalu because yeah, it has such a young cast, making 136 crore, $16 million from I imagine a really small budget because this movie was just, it's a pretty simple movie. It's just shot in what Metro, I think Metro Hyderabad or something like that, somewhere in Telangana or Andhra Pradesh. I can't remember exactly where, but it's shot somewhere there, so it's not a really expensive movie. And the cast itself is pretty young; they're pretty up and coming. So, for this movie to make so much money, it was a surprise. It was a fun movie. It was a delightful movie. I enjoyed this movie. It's not like I didn't like this movie. I think it might connect more to people that are younger than myself, so that might be one of the reasons why it made so much money as well. But either way, this movie was fun. I enjoyed Premalu, a good movie, a fun watch. I would really recommend it for anyone that wants to watch something lighthearted on like a Friday night or Saturday morning or Sunday afternoon. Perfect kind of movie to watch. So that's my two honorable mentions from 2024. In at number two is a movie that was, again, pretty unique. I keep using that word because this 2024 feels like there was a lot of movies that were unique. Unique is when there's only one of. And I feel like Bramayugam is a movie that is just in its own world. Like in terms of Malayalam cinema, I've not seen a movie like this. The black and white element is just one thing that makes it unique. But even the whole story that they told with this movie, Mammootty's incredible performance in this movie, the way they sort of put this movie together, oh my god, it was such a good movie, man. Seeing this movie in the cinema was just one of the best experiences I think I can remember from the year. It was so good. You felt like you were trapped in this house, in this mansion, with these characters trying to get out. The way they played and Mammootty's evil character coming out, oh my god, it was just, yeah. Thinking back to this, I just have memories of just how good this movie was. Really fantastic. As someone that loves the gothic horror genre, it is one of my more favorite genres, like gothic horror. So, that is something cool to see. I don't like traditional horror, but I do like the gothic elements of horror. So this movie really fit into my sort of wheelhouse. I really enjoyed it. Brahma Yugam, we've covered this movie quite a bit on our channel. If you want to hear me talk about it some more, check it out. Beautiful movie, amazing movie. I can't wait to rewatch it. And at number one, maybe controversial, would love to know what your number one pick is. But for me, number one is The Goat Life, Aadujeevitham. This movie for me, wow, beautiful. I mean, where to even start with this movie? The cinematography, seeing this on the big screen, the desert landscape is just so beautiful, but so intimidating. It's what makes it so poetic. It's this mix of like intimidation and beauty because it's just amazing, like visually. But then you see these poor people stuck in this landscape, which is just the worst. Wow. Like, I mean, visually beautiful performances. Oh my god, Prithviraj, brought this just to a whole different level. It was a pretty exceptional performance from Prithviraj. Physically, he I think transformed his body or something like that. But to me, more than physically, the second half of this movie is essentially Prithviraj doing a lot of the heavy lifting, not able to talk properly throughout the entire movie. The way he would walk, the physical acting, which I didn't know he was such a good physical actor before, because I've seen a lot of his movies and I do enjoy his performances, but I didn't know he was able to pull this much off. So he's very talented. Again, you just add in the other elements. The music from A.R. Rahman just made this really spectacular. The story itself of just, getting through that kind of torture is just exceptional. I really liked how this movie also took you back with the flashbacks. I felt they worked a little bit better in this movie than if I compare it to a movie like Manjummel Boys, which also did that a little bit. But I feel that Aadujeevitham is just at another level. And look, this might be a theme of mine because in 2023, I think it was, I think I talked about my favorite movie being 2018. So again, another kind of similar kind of concept, humans getting through adversity, through difficult times due to nature. So there's a common theme of mine right there that you might start sensing. So yeah, it could be something to do with that. Why I picked Aadujeevitham as my number one. But yeah, this movie was just truly exceptional. It was something that I've talked about this movie to other people. So whenever people ask me, what are you watching on Netflix or what is a recommendation on Netflix, I will say Aadujeevitham because I feel like it's a movie that people can enjoy. But I will tell them that, hey, if you watch this, just go in knowing that you're going to watch something heavy because it is a heavy movie, beautiful movie, sad movie. That someone can go through this situation. This movie made me angry. I think this movie hit me at a level where I was actually quite angered by what was happening to this poor guy in this situation. It was really tough to stomach some of that. And if a movie can trigger that kind of response in you, you know that they've done a good job. So yeah, that is my review of 2024, guys. Let me know what you think. I would love to know what your top 10 movies are from 2024. Do they differ from me? Are they the same as me? I doubt they're the same. Let me know the order. Let me know which movies I missed. I know I did miss a few movies from this year. I missed movies like Paradise from Darshana, which I think was meant to be an amazing movie, which that's the kind of movie that I think I would have enjoyed, to be honest. I missed Level Cross, the Asif Ali movie, which was meant to be really good. And I missed another movie called Golem, which is also another movie which I've not seen. I'll probably watch it sometime. They're the notable ones. Let me know if there's any other movie that I missed from last year which you think I should have covered. Because we can always go back. We do a lot of movies that are like unsung gems and things like that on this channel as well. So if you like that kind of content, then hey, why not stick around? Why not subscribe? If you listen this far, I'm sure you're going to enjoy the content on the channel because 2025 is going to be a year where we are going to do a lot of different things on this channel. We're looking to change the game up quite a bit. And yeah, all right, guys. Well, thanks a lot for listening, and I'll speak to you on the next one.